welcome to my channel. I wanted to do this video about life in the United States and why so many Americans are leaving. At the end of this video, I'm going to give my perspective, so stay tuned. Thanks.
Leaving my home country was one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life. I'm talking mentally, physically, spiritually, and financially. Putting yourselves in different cultures is just so eye-opening. Like when you see how people are living in other parts of the world, it forces you to realize what we take for granted back home and what we put too much value on back home. Like in the US, all we think about is money and other toxic things like status and clout. Making money is very important in today's world, but it's just a piece of the pie. Life is truly just a balance of health, relationships, finances, and enjoyment or entertainment. And I felt like in the US, I was forced to basically abandon my health, relationships, enjoyment, just to get in a good financial position. And living abroad truly helped me fix my life balancing issues, giving me more time for what truly matters. So if you can relate to how I felt back when I was living in the US, let this be a sign to get out and travel more. You can always make more money.
I have to work 60 hours a week and make $80,000 a year to make ends meet.
That video is exactly the reason why I moved out of the United States. I was working 60-hour weeks, getting paid $60,000 a year with my mortgage payment of over $3,000 a month. I had to rent out rooms in my home in order not to just sink and get into debt. I saw myself living that life where constantly all you do every day, work, go home, sleep, work, go home, sleep, work, go home, sleep, work, go home, sleep, and you get one day off, and then every day is the same. Collect your paycheck, save up for a vacation, go on the vacation. While you're on the vacation, you're just stressed out because you know the vacation's costing you money that you have to go back and make at the job that you hate because it takes up all your time. I found myself in that cycle, and I decided no. I said, no, I'm not going to live it. And I literally quit my job, literally put my house up for sale, sold almost everything, and hopped on a flight. And ever since I've done that, I am happier than I have ever been. I see an entirely new life for myself now.
Leave the United States for at least 1 or 2 years. That is the best advice I could give any young person. Because when you go, you will see a whole new world. You'll learn another language. You will find out that there's so much of the shit that goes on in this country is just fake. You will cure yourself from toxic people, toxic food. I guarantee you after a month, you won't even think about this place. And if you decide to come back, you will dominate just like the immigrants do that come over here. Because all the opportunities that were in front of you that you just didn't see, they will be blaring at you in the face. Leave the country. Go experience another culture, learn another language. You will learn more about life. You will learn more about yourself doing that than you will spending 20 years in college. It is the greatest
Decided that
gift.
you want to move out of the United States and live overseas full time. These are the top 5 things that you must do if you want to live comfortably overseas long term. Feel free to save this for future reference, and if you like videos like this, make sure to hit the follow button. 1. Start doing research on different countries and lifestyles that you could see yourself living in. There's plenty of amazing places you could check out, so what I recommend, start looking at travel vlogs, start consuming content related to travel, and look into different places that you could see yourself visiting or potentially living in full time. 2. Create a long-term vision for your ideal future. What I recommend, get yourself a notebook, start writing on paper how you intend on achieving this new lifestyle, and unless if you're someone who's already doing well financially and you're making money online, this might be something that you will have to plan out throughout the next 2, 3, maybe 5 years. But as long as you plan it out and you're taking action on a daily basis to get yourself to that new lifestyle, then you will definitely get there. 3. Start selling things you don't need and embrace minimalism. The less stuff that you have with you, the less stuff that you have to carry around, it's going to be a lot easier to travel, you're going to be more flexible, and you will have more freedom. Or take a 30-day trip to your desired location, do a bit of a test run, and see how you like it before moving there full time. So you might not like Mexico, you might not like Brazil or Colombia or Philippines or Thailand. So it's important to do a bit of a test run, see what you think first, and then decide if you want to move there full time. And number 5, I cannot stress this enough, find a way to make money online. If you're working your regular 9 to 5 right now, find a way to go remote, learn a skill that you could do from home. on your laptop from anywhere in the world and find a way to make US dollars while living overseas, because your money's going to go a whole lot farther and you're going to have much more flexibility and freedom. If you want to learn more about this and different ways to replace your 9-to-5 income, hit the follow button because I got more.
Now that I left the United States, this is the main thing that I realized. The United States be bullshitting us. They be literally capping, they be lying, they be fabricating, they literally lie to us our whole damn life. Do you know, when I was in New York, in America, I used to research where to go, how to go to Thailand, how to go to Bali, how to go to all these damn countries. And do you know what I found out? All these countries are very dangerous. Don't even step foot in Thailand because you're gonna get robbed. This is the most dangerous place you're ever gonna be at. Yeah, I've been here for almost 3 to 4 months. I've been in Bangkok, I've been in Chiang Mai, I've been in damn Pattaya. Yeah, nobody's arguing, nobody's fighting, nobody's dangerous out here. There is nobody killing, nothing, zero, nada, nothing what the hell they told me that was gonna happen in America. And I came over here and it didn't happen. They're lying to us. But one problem is the news. Did you ever realize on the news, when have they ever spread positivity about somewhere? If you are watching the news and it's talking about a different country or a different place, is it good news or is it bad news? So again, if you want to continue getting brainwashed by the United States, if you want to continue listening to the news and listening to what the hell they got orchestrated over there, yeah, you're going to get brainwashed and you're going to be living in the past. I was in Brooklyn, New York. I was in America. I left America.
I left America 6 months ago and my life is infinitely better. Let's talk about it. First things first, I've talked about this in other videos, but it cost me around $1,000 to leave the States, which is significantly less money than I ever anticipated. And I think it's a really important thing for everyone to be talking about, that it actually costs a lot less than you might think to leave the US. Since moving abroad, these are the things that have improved in my life. First and foremost, my physical health is infinitely better. Why? The food is better. The air quality is better. I'm happier. I'm less stressed out. Medicine and healthcare is way more affordable. Like, we're talking apples and oranges. People are nicer here because they are happier here. It is significantly easier to cultivate community in a place where people are trusting and loving and empathetic and kind. And I cannot stress this enough. My central nervous.
What the real power of travel is, why it's important, why we even travel in the first place. Travel is one of the few things we have in our lives that really mark a fresh start. It's always a new beginning. And think about it. That's whether you are with 5 members of your close family or are totally solo. It's true whether you are going 10,000 miles away for 2 weeks or just like an hour from your own home. Travel marks a fresh start. And we are all on this human journey to understand ourselves, to be better than we thought for our community, for our friends and family. And nothing will give you that opportunity like travel. These things always come to me when I'm home in my office.
Leaving the U.S. to live abroad is by far the best decision I've ever made in my life. And the first thing I learned is that our concept of work-life balance is absolute bullshit. Most people spend their entire lives working and will probably never be able to retire. And most people only get 1, maybe 2 weeks off an entire year for vacation. And with the cost of living as high as it is, most people can't even afford that. And we're supposed to be just okay with it. And one thing I've learned is that money is no longer a goal, but it's more so of a tool to get whatever it is that I'm looking for. And honestly, that's provided so much tranquility and peace in my life that I didn't have before, just because money was the main thing that I was chasing. I used to pay over $2,500 a month for a 1-bedroom apartment. That didn't even include all the other utilities and bills I had to pay. And for that same amount, I'm able to catch flights whenever I want to. I'm able to go on cruises. I can literally go to different countries like Indonesia and go camping or living in a van. And while a lot of people argue that my lifestyle and traveling is not something that everybody can do, or it's unavailable for a lot of different people, I can guarantee you that it's more affordable and accessible than a lot of people have been led to believe. If the pandemic taught us anything, it's the fact that most people are able to work remotely, which means more people than not are able to travel and work abroad and, be flexible with their lives. But once again, we're just taught that work should come first and living should come later. And that is something that
What up, y'all? My name is Eric, and in a couple of weeks, I'll be moving to Thailand. So here are a few reasons why I decided to leave the United States. Reason number 1, the cost of living. I'm in the property management industry and I've seen studios go from $700 a month to now $1,500 to $1,600 a month. Nobody here should be okay with spending that much money on a 415 square feet unit. Even our car insurance and the price of food is burning through our pockets. Heck, some people can't even afford to feed their families. It seems like you're working for nothing. We all want to be able to work and enjoy our money. Number 2, the food here. In the last couple of weeks, I spoke to multiple people and they've all said that they've been having stomach issues. But every last one of them told me that they don't eat junk food, they don't drink soda, pop, anything. They all tell me that they stick to water, fruits, and vegetables, but somehow they're still on the toilet 4 or 5 times a day. America is poisoning our food. So many pesticides, so many seed oils, our water is contaminated. They want to keep us sick so we can spend money on doctor's visits and medicine. And we're all tired of it. Number 3, the people here. Now I get it. It's very hard. It's very depressing here. Only because of what the United States government is putting us through. But nobody smiles anymore. And everybody's in competition with the next person. It's like a rat race here. Me personally, I'm just tired of it all. So that's why I decided to move to Thailand. Now, I visited Thailand about 2 months ago, and I have to say that was the best time of my life. It opened up my eyes in so many ways. So this is my intro on a new journey of my life, and I want all you guys to come along with me. That way you can experience it too. And with that being said, come along with me.
So here is my perspective on why many people are thinking, planning, or pondering about leaving the United States. Right now it's about 3 or 4 types of people. It's people who are fed up and would like to leave, but this is the only life that they know. That's the first type. The second type are people who are either really young or in retirement who are willing to take the risk of leaving the United States to find a better life elsewhere. The third type are people who are thriving or doing moderately well, so they don't really have a reason to leave the United States because they are currently prospering. The last group is people who are unable to even leave the United States. So I am going to speak primarily to those people who are thinking about leaving the United States because I would consider myself a mix of the group who wants to leave and also in the position of someone who is blessed to be doing fairly well in the United States. So a little backstory on me. I'm 29 years old. I am from Louisiana. I grew up in Louisiana, and for the for the better part of my life, it wasn't until I was 24 years old that I ever think about leaving the United States or life outside of the United States. So I am currently separated and divorced, but while I was in a relationship with a St. Lucian, the mother of my child, I went to St. Lucia with her. And that was the first time that a lot of the beliefs that I was given as a child were challenged because I was told that the United States was this and other countries was that. And when I went to St. Lucia, I realized like, wow, like, you know, is one is naturally beautiful. Two is people who live here who don't even think about coming to the United States or leaving the island. It's people who have a good life there. And I realized that on the island there's people who are wealthy, who have money. There's a small middle class, and then there's poor people. But what shocked me the most when I was there was, although they have poor people, they didn't have a homeless problem. It wasn't a lot of homelessness. It really wasn't a lot of obesity, and the culture really shined through. Luckily, I was there with a local, and so I got to experience most of what the country had to offer in the short time that I was there. And that's when I was bit with the travel bug, and that was the first time that I had ever left the United States. My brother, who is now deceased, was with me, and I cherish those memories greatly because that was the only time we really got to travel together as brothers. Well, now 4 years later, 5 years later, at 29 years old, I have been to 4 countries and 1 territory, Puerto Rico. And so I've been to St. Lucia, Jamaica, Cuba, and the country of Colombia. I don't have a favorite country. I think every country is beautiful, including the country that I'm from, the United States. Um, I have my dad's military flag there. Rest in peace. My dad served this country honorably. So this is not a video where I am disparaging the United States or I am not proud of the United States because my ancestors helped build the United States. But I do have my own criticism. So why do people want to leave the United States? One, the United States is seemingly becoming almost unaffordable. So many people can't afford rent. People are spending as much as 35 to 50% of their income on rent. A lot of people have less than $1,000 in savings. A lot of people are one mistake away from not even being able to afford the homes which they live. Healthcare. Healthcare is just outrageous in the United States. If you get sick or injured on the job, that could mean termination, violence. The United States have had a multitude of mass shootings. Today, in the state where I'm from, it was on the news that someone was shot and killed in a nearby city. Last week alone, in the city of Baton Rouge, they had about 4 or 5 people murdered in 1 week. Day after day, people were being murdered. New Orleans is very violent right now. A lot of people don't even want to go down there for tourism due to the violence. Okay, in the last 2 or 3 years, we have had a lot of school shootings, mass shootings, innocent children being murdered, and it seems as though that the powers that be don't want to step in to do anything. Now, on one hand, this is not a video about gun restrictions or what should be done because I don't have the solutions to those things. I'm just speaking about the problems that exist in the country. And if you had a family member that was murdered or a child who went to school and was murdered, I'm pretty sure you would have strong feelings about gun control and wanting justice for your family members. So I definitely can empathize with them and think about the things that they have gone through and what they probably continue to go through. Education. It costs so much to get a college degree here, and then when these kids graduate, they're unable to find jobs, they're unable to prosper, and it just seems like the young people are fitting the bill that they did not create, that they're working so hard to get to a point B from point A, and it just seems like a never-ending struggle. And also, the ones who came before us, they have paid into Social Security. They're stating that Social Security is going to end by 2035, and it just seems like the young people in this country have to work so hard but not receive any of the benefits of the hard work that they contribute to the society. Okay, currently our country is really divided between the left and the right. And from an outside perspective, I think that it shouldn't matter if you are a Democrat or Republican. If you are an American, you should want the best for the nation. And I think that that's a very simplistic concept and a simplistic way of viewing things. And I don't mean to minimize what's going on, but I think that we can all agree that everyone needs housing, food, shelter, clothing, safety, and affection. These are the hierarchy of needs, so it shouldn't even be a debate about these things. Excuse me. So, while this is taking place, another reason why people want to leave the United States is that they feel like taxes that are taken from their paychecks when you invest into the stock market or you save for retirement is going to be taxed money that you're going to be saving. There's no way to get around it pretty much, and if you try to get around it, you can end up in prison. It just seems really unfair. Um, a lot of people are disgruntled because of the immigration situation where we have in our country, where a lot of immigrants come from Latin America and other countries, and they enter the United States, and from an American perspective, they get benefits that Americans don't get. And it just seems like, well, wow, you working, you're paying to fit the bill for someone else, but then Americans themselves don't get the benefit for what they work for. Now, those are the main reasons that I could think of. Now, for me, leaving the United States, okay, was something, like I said, for 24 years I never even pondered. I was actually afraid and had a fear of traveling outside of the United States. But afterwards, things progressed, and I realized that life out of the United States could be quite enjoyable. I've had some of the best times of my life outside of the United States. Colombia was a beautiful country, beautiful cuisine, beautiful women. Currently, I've been to Cuba 4 times. I love Cuba. My fiance is from Cuba, so I'm going to speak very highly of Cuba. But at the same time, I think that all of these countries have their own set of problems that differs from the United States. But I can understand from an American perspective, leaving the United States and not having to worry about money, knowing that your money goes further, knowing that if you are making $40,000 here, if you go to a country like that, then you're going to be of a higher social status. Another thing that I would like to state is that a lot of Americans just want to have peace. It's like a lot of Americans are unable to relax. They can't get a break. They just work, 60-hour work weeks, 70-hour work week, 80-hour work weeks. And it's just like they're working themselves into an early grave. They just can't get a break. And I think that when they voice their opinions to their local government, the federal government, it's like those cries fall on deaf ears. And so I could definitely understand why a lot of Americans want to leave the country. I am one of those people. I would really like to leave the United States, and not long term, but at least for a couple years to get my bearings, to enjoy the world, learn a foreign language, mingle with the world. I mean, we have a huge planet, Earth. No one said that you had to live in one country for the duration of your life. And the idea of, we have representatives like Nikki Haley who's saying that basically Americans have to work until they die. Who wants to do that? Who wants to work until they die? No one wants to do that. At some point, you have worked hard enough. You served your country long enough in order to enjoy the fruits of your labor. So I think that that's a discussion that more and more people are going to have. But ultimately, most Americans don't even have a passport. Most Americans live in fear because they fear if they go up the street, they go down the street, they go to the next city, someone is going to harm them. Many Americans live in fear. So this has been my perspective. I hope that I was able to provide some insight, and I'm going to make more travel videos. At the end of this month, actually, I'll be going overseas on a vacation. So, but I want to transition from vacationing to living, because I think that you can visit a place, but I think when you live in a place is when you actually get to gain a real perspective. So that's been my video. If you are willing to, please like, subscribe, share, and thank you for supporting my content.